Drive, brought to you by Golf Pride.
A very good morning, happy Friday, and welcome into Morning Drive. Anna Whiteley with you, alongside Damon Hack, Paige, Mackenzie, and Robert Damron. Well, whilst this morning would have been the start of round 2 action of the 84th Masters Tournament, Golf Channel have got quite the lineup for you on this Good Friday to hopefully try and fill the void. So it all starts at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll flash back to 1983 when Seve Ballesteros won his second green jacket by defeating Ben Crenshaw and Tom Kite by 4 strokes. Then at noon, Faraty takes over with a handful of Masters champions until 6 p.m. Adam Scott's winning press conference from 2013 will follow. And hey, why not stay up late until 11:30 p.m. Eastern when Tiger takes the stage after his 2005 Masters victory where he captured his 4th green jacket. But before the nightcap, ladies and gents, let's focus back on Adam Scott's incredible victory in 2013 when he defeated Angel Cabrera on the second hole of a sudden death playoff in the rain at Augusta National Golf Club. Scott won his first Masters and became the first Australian ever to win the Masters. And afterwards, one of the most iconic historic photos in Masters history was taken while Scott posed in front of the press. So guys, that got us thinking. There are so many to choose from and it's tough to choose one, but what is our favorite Masters photo ever taken? Robert Damron, starting with you.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's my absolute favorite, but it's one, I wanted to pick one that had an effect on me and something that I remembered well. And I go back to 1989. Scott Hoch had a short putt to win the Masters first hole of the playoff over Nick Faldo. And the reason that I picked this picture is at that time in 1989, he lived about 100 yards away from my parents' house where I lived. And he would come by sometimes for dinner. And now I remember I'm sitting on an ottoman. I remember the color of it, where I am, and watching this man who I know has a 2-foot putt to win the Masters. And when it slid by, I remember falling off the chair. It meant it so much to me. It actually kind of showed me the size and scope of the Masters, how big and how iconic this was and how much this hurt Scott Hoch. Now, also, the picture is pretty awesome. All credit to Phil Sheldon. Look how high Scott threw that putter in the air. It's amazing. He caught it on the way back down. But that shot of adrenaline that I got watching him miss, I was really pulling for Scott, was something big and important to me and something I remembered. So it's a great picture. Not always for Scott Hoch. He may not want to look at it. And I played a lot of golf with Scott later after that when I got on tour. And he insists I hit a pretty good putt. I didn't push it. I didn't choke. I didn't feel like I was shaking. It's just tough greens and tough situation, and it just wasn't meant to be. But regardless, a tough picture to look at if you're Scott, but a great photograph for me.
It's a powerful image of someone who never won the Masters. My photo is someone who's won the Masters 5 times. It's from Tiger Woods' second Masters title back in 2001 when he completed the Tiger Slam. The picture's by Fred Vuich, who was on 18T. This photo would end up being the cover of Sports Illustrated under the headline Masterpiece. Tiger's play was a masterpiece, and this photo was a masterpiece. Tiger Woods, height of his power, top of the backswing, red shirt, green canvas, fading blue sky. And the picture had to be perfect. This was the culmination of the Tiger Slam, following that 15-shot win at the U.S. Open, 8-shot win at the Open, playoff win at the PGA, and this was a 2-shot win over David Duval, 3-shot win over Phil Mickelson, and the picture was worth 1,000 words, and ultimately, and rightfully so, ended up on the cover of SI and really captured the essence of the greatness of Tiger Woods.
It really did, Damon. It managed to capture his solo standing on that tee with everybody else. He, stood alone for so many years at the top of the game, and I love the perspective of being behind the player and seeing what the player has to deliver on their shot. And that's why my favorite photo is in 2012, and it's Bubba Watson from inside the trees on the 10th hole in his playoff against Louis Oosthuizen. There's something about that perspective and seeing what the player sees, or in this case, was not able to see, in that he had to bend the golf ball 40 plus yards around the tree to get to the green on this playoff. It speaks to this, how special Bubba Watson is in his ability, because most people would not see that shot as a possibility. Not only was he able to see that shot as a possibility, he was able to execute that shot. And that is exactly why I find it to be so exciting to be able to see the view and the vantage point from where that player was, where Bubba Watson was in the trees.
Yeah, I think barely anyone is as creative with their irons, Paige, as Bubba Watson. He is an absolute wizard with those things. It's fascinating to watch. And we know Bubba Watson is not afraid of showing emotion. And that's partly why this is my favorite photo. I'm going back to Tiger Woods and his win just last year. Now, speaking of emotion, it was that moment where he came off the back of the 18th green and just embraced his son, Charlie, in one of the most emotionally charged hugs I think I've ever seen. And it's the human side of Tiger that we hadn't seen for the best part of 20 years, but becoming a father, it changes everyone. So it gave us that circle of life moment going back to 1997 when Tiger embraced his father Earl in what was, again, such an emotional hug. And then Tiger was the father, but Tiger's been very open about part of the reason why last year was so special for him is because he got to share it with his children and he got to show them just a slice of what possibly is the greatest golfer that ever lived. And they could experience that, having been so close just 9 months before at Carnoustie and not quite being able to close it out in that final round. And Frankie Molinari went on to take the title. They experienced the disappointment. So to then turn that around and show his kids who he is, a little bit of what he's made of, I imagine it doesn't get more special than that. So guys, they are some of our favorite photos from the Masters, and let us know, send us your favorite photos because there are so many to choose from. And stay with us here on Golf for the rest of the day because we've got some great Masters content coming your way. At 11:30 Eastern, we're flashing back to Seve Ballesteros' win for his second green jacket. At noon, Ferrety's taking over with a selection of Masters champs. And then, of course, Adam Scott's winning press conference from 2013. And why not stay up late on this Easter weekend at 11:30 p.m. Eastern as Tiger takes the stage after his 2005 Masters. So have a wonderful weekend. We will see you soon and take care.